How's it going, guys? I hope you guys had a great week. So I'm back today with a very quick news update, guys. This one is Cyberpunk 2077 related. So CD Projekt Red tweeted today at around about 5 p.m, just after 5 p.m, to basically announce that Cyberpunk 2077 had been delayed again. So Cyberpunk 2077 was supposed to be coming out on September the 17th, and they have announced that it's not actually going to be coming out now until November, so they've had to push the initial release back. Marcin Iwinski and Adam Badowski released an official statement, as they always do, because CD Projekt Red are pretty good when it comes to communicating with their fans and with the public. So let's have a look at what reason they gave and what they said about this delay. As you can see here on the screen, this is the statement that they came out with. They said, "Those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready. Ready when it's done is not just a phrase we say because it sounds right. It's something we live by even when we know we'll take the heat for it. At the same time, we are fully aware that making such a decision costs us your trust, and trading trust for additional time is one of the hardest decisions a game developer can make. And despite we think it's the right decision for the game, we'd still like to apologize for making you wait longer. Our intention is to make Cyberpunk 2077 something that will stay with you for years to come. In the end, we hope you understand why we did what we did. At the time we are writing these words, Cyberpunk 2077 is finished, both content and gameplay wise. The quests, the cutscenes, the skills and items, all the adventures Night City has to offer, it's all there. But with such an abundance of content and complex systems interweaving with each other, we need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world means a huge number of things to iron out, and we will spend the additional time doing exactly that. This week, journalists from all over the world are starting to independently play the game. We are eager and quite stressed to hear their opinions, as well as see your reactions when they publish their previews right after we air Night City Wire on the 25th of June. We hope this will satisfy some of your hunger for the game as we work to polish it for the November launch. Thank you, Marcin Iwinski and Adam Badowski." So there you have it, guys. Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be delayed from September the 17th to November the 19th. Time to cancel my annual leave, which I had booked in September, and hopefully I'll be able to get that time off in November. Will all depend on my employer, but it's been delayed. So what are my thoughts on it? Honestly, I've never really had a problem with delays for games. I think CD Projekt Red are a really good developer, and I'm perfectly happy for them to take the time that they need to really polish the game. It's really good to hear that the game is kind of finished, that in terms of content and gameplay, so that all the quests, all the cutscenes, the skills, the items, everything is there. So that does make me happy that the game has finished its development, and now really they're just spending that extra time to actually polish the game and, you know, make it the best it can be. I'm happy with that because obviously over the last couple of years we have had a number of games that have released in a broken state. You know, big open world games, huge games, big promises made by developers, and they just haven't really delivered it. So I'm really happy to hear that CD Projekt Red are taking that time. I think they're a studio that take a lot of pride in what they do, and their motto, their ethos is very similar to Nintendo. You know, this idea of if the game's not ready and it's not done, we're not going to rush it, we're not going to ship it out. We want to make sure that when it does hit, you know, stores, that it is ready, and you know, there might only be a couple of little patches and a couple of little things to fix later on along the road. I think that's really good. We have seen a lot of developers like BioWare, for example, with Anthem, where they released the game in a really buggy state, in a very rushed state, and they spent literally the first 12 months of its release trying to fix the game. So the studio that was working on the game wasn't able to work on any future content, any future DLC, and that kind of meant when the game came out, it was already dead in the water. So I'm really glad that CD Projekt Red are taking the time. Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be an absolutely massive game, and I can imagine that that's going to be incredibly complex for developers to really make sure everything works in terms of the coding and there aren't, huge game breaking bugs. And I think it's right that they're spending that time. I think a lot of developers, because of the pressure on them by big publishers like Activision and EA and even Ubisoft, don't have the time that they would necessarily want to really bug test and quality test their releases. So I'm perfectly fine with this. To be fair, I mean, there's a lot of really big games coming out in the next couple of months. Obviously, The Last of Us Part 2 hits this week on Friday. Ghost of Tsushima is coming out in July. Marvel's Avengers is coming out in September as well as many other titles as well. So I don't really have a massive problem with it pushing back to November. I think that's absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure some of those big developers and games coming out, between sort of September and November are kind of breathing a sigh of relief that they're not going to have to compete with Cyberpunk 2077. But it is curious that it is coming out in November in that holiday season, and that's the time when we're supposed to be getting these new next-gen titles dropping. We do know that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be coming out on PlayStation 4, PC and Xbox One. CD Projekt Red have confirmed that it will also be a next-gen title as well, although I don't think that version of the game is quite ready. I think they still have to work on that to really tweak it for the next-gen consoles. So I wouldn't anticipate that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be a release title for those consoles. If it is going to be a release title for those consoles, then I can imagine it would sell very well if they are working on that behind the scenes. We don't know, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, obviously, it coming out when people are going to be putting down a lot of money on next gen consoles. I mean, I don't think it would affect the sales of consoles, but can you imagine it if everybody's like, I'm not buying a PlayStation 5, I'm too busy playing Cyberpunk 2077, which is what I will be doing. This for me is a must play game. I can't wait to see what CD Projekt Red have. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm also really looking forward to the Night City Wire on the 25th of June. I will absolutely be watching that, and hopefully, depending on what time that is set to air, hopefully I'll be able to live stream that a little bit like I did with PlayStations with the PS5 reveal. I hope I can do that, but obviously I think the 25th of June is actually a Thursday next week, which is a little bit awkward, because I work obviously, and I will be working on the Friday. So for example, tonight I can't stream my reaction to EA Play and the hopeful reveal about the Mass Effect remaster, so I can't react to it. So I'm hoping it's going to be airing around about 9 p.m. so I can actually live stream it and obviously share that with you guys. It's interesting news to hear that journalists have been able to get their hands independently on the game as well. I don't think that's going to be the full game. I highly doubt they've given journalists the full game. Maybe that's like a segment of the game or the first couple of hours or like a demo that they can actually get hands on with and play. But it'll be really interesting to hear their thoughts and their opinions, and I will absolutely be tuning into that, and we'll be really looking forward to hearing what they have to say. But we do know that CD Projekt Red are going to be giving review copies of the game out, most likely at least a couple of weeks prior to the release of the game in November, because the game is massive, so I can imagine it's going to take a long time to play through everything, and obviously they're going to want to give those journalists the chance to do that. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Cyberpunk 2077 is delayed. It's not going to be coming out on September the 17th, and instead it's going to be coming out on November the 19th, so mark that date in your calendar. So what do you guys think about this news? Are you disappointed? Do you care? What are your thoughts on the delay? Is Cyberpunk 2077 a title that you're interested in this year? Let me know what you guys think of this delay, the reasons given by CD Projekt Red, and the new date. Please let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are. Anyway, hope you guys having a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.